Pi.A makes a live stream. Ha ha ha.
Cloud,
Yeah?
you're not invited.
Oh, okay.
Nobody tried to understand. All I had was music, man, and music was my one night stand. The Alphatower of repressed situations. And now I'm sitting on my throne. If you can make it, man, then throw me out of my own throne. Throw me out of my own throne. Push play. Throw me out of my own throne. Push play. Then throw me out of my own throne. Push play.
3, 2, 1.
Go! Ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the Alphatower Meet and Greet, episode number 3. And first, I will do what? I will make some cool music in the back, something chill, because the topic we have today is a very, very serious one. And for that, I invited a woman, which is I think the pro cloud fighter on this world possible, because she went through all of the pain, all of the traumas, the negativities, the depressions, and she made it out, ladies and gentlemen. And before we show each other that we are in the Alphatower, I want to say hello to everybody joining that stream and supporting the message of spreading positivity as much as possible. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the one, the only, Dené. So, Dené, here you are. Thank you and welcome to the Alphatower.
Thank you. That was the coolest introduction with the dancers and everything. I loved it.
Yeah, it's officially stolen from my digital concert, and I just thought it just catched the vibe of the Alphatower, and I just
absolutely.
can show the people the power it came from spreading from that Alphatower. So, Dené, you are a very, very interesting person. So I met you on Instagram, and we just talked a little bit here and there, and just there's one topic really just bringing us together, which most people would say it's a negative topic, but it's officially a mental health thing. You and I suffered from PTSD, which is a very bad thing, but it brings us together. And for people watching right now, it's the first time Dené and I see each other. So
yes, we've talked a lot, but we haven't seen each other face to face. Well, I've seen you in your videos that you've done, and your music.
It's just my music is Cloudfighter music, but it's something coming with the years. In first case, I just want to make music. That's what I wanted, and somehow something in my soul said, hey, just focus on what scares you, what gives you pain, and just try to fight a kind of way out of it, and just be an example for people. And that's cool to hear that it reaches you. Really, it means a lot to hear.
But it does.
But today, it's not about me, but it's much more about you. So would you mind to share a little to the people who you are?
Well, I'm 67, and I have been fighting my mental illness to be stronger and healthier since I was 28. So it's been a long process. I came from a very traumatic, dysfunctional home, and my grandparents' home as a result, when I hit I'd say about 15, I started using drugs and alcohol. And that,
Wow.
yeah,
With 15.
at 15.
That,
And
that gives me goosebumps because I started to drink with 15 and I started to smoke with 16. It's the same age.
yeah, I started smoking at 13. And,
Wow.
it was a way to drown the pain.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that the first time I got drunk, I got that uh-oh feeling, like, oh, here it is, I can rest in this.
Yeah.
And so it continued into my 20s, and it accelerated a lot. And at 28, I self-admitted into a rehab.
Wow.
so that I could get clean and sober, because
Wow.
I knew there was another person inside of me that I just couldn't reach. And when I got to rehab,
Totally shocked.
you are?
Yes, because to say that that there was a different person inside and you try to reach it, it's like the light I'm talking about the whole time. Like the real you is there in chains and is waiting to be freed from every negativity around, from the trauma, from the pain, from social things like, pressure from outside. Yeah. And wow. I'm so it gives me goosebumps right now, really. So
Well, I spent 6 weeks in that rehab, and I had a very good counselor who gave me books to read, and she was really hard on me, very hard on me. And going through withdrawals was not easy.
wow.
Yeah. And when I got out of there, they sent me here to where I live now. And I came with the promise that I would stay for 3 months in a halfway house. And that's when I started having, I was with other women, and they were talking about their history and
Wow.
what had happened to them as children. And that's when I started thinking about it. What had happened to me? And
It means you didn't even realize that you were traumatized in a kind of way, or that you go through something. You just thought, okay, I'm melancholy, that's the way I am, and I just do all that stuff.
I had just buried it so deep inside of me that I just buried it.
And you just don't want to think about it, right?
No.
Just like, yeah.
And so when I got clean and sober, I just was depressed and decided that that was just who I was.
Yeah.
And so when I heard other people talking about what had happened to them as children, I started going to counseling immediately. And that's when I realized this is what happened to me.
Oh my God.
This is what
So
happened
it was
to
like
me.
that key moment where you just
It was an epiphany,
wow.
and it just blew me away.
It blows me away to listen to that story. So you stand there in the middle of your 20s and find out, oh, there was something wrong with me the whole time, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. Nobody
No.
told me.
I was close to 30, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is why I was drinking and drugging. I was numbing myself. I spent all those years numbing myself because I couldn't live with the pain of what had happened and the trauma. And they told me that I was suffering from PTSD. Now, when I was in treatment, they told me that I was that I had bipolar disorder.
Wow.
No, not bipolar. I'm sorry, I'm saying the wrong thing. That I had oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Hold on a second.
It's being alive, you know?
Borderline personality disorder. And I was like, okay, well, what do I do about that?
Yeah. When we are younger, we didn't take so much about the definition, right? That there's a doctor telling us, oh, you have something, and you say, okay, that's okay.
That's what I said. Okay.
it's like just like to it's refreshing, or no, it's like pain relieving to have a word for it.
Yes, exactly.
Because
they
before
told me
I
what
know
was wrong with me.
Yes, you have a name for it finally, because you always wonder why I don't fit into the masses and why I don't want to fit in, what is wrong with me, why do I think differently while everybody's happy, I'm sitting somewhere and don't want to be alive or something.
Yeah.
Like, exactly that thoughts. And when I remember when I was little, when I was 14, I just started my first therapy, and before that therapy, there was like grass on the ground, and I just lay there, listened to Nirvana, and planned my death. I really planned it in detail, and it was like a romantic picture for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't realize it was not normal. I didn't realize it was very dangerous. For me, it was my reality. How can I die? Today I'm laughing about it, but back then it was like me in a bubble, me in my cloud, and I didn't know that there was that cloud of doubt. It was just like, that's how I am, and I don't care if people like me. I just want to be alone. Leave me alone. That was something.
That's kind of how I was. Leave me alone.
Wow. Oh my God, this is so. It feels good to hear that somebody else felt the same way, because I always thought I'm not normal, and I thought, okay, let the cool kids be the cool kids, and you stay the outsider, be that way. And
I wasn't a cool kid. I was weird. I didn't
Me too.
fit in.
we are the proud weirdos, like
Yes,
proudly.
I'm still weird.
So I don't know, like, people having that happy life, they just can't understand us, and they never will. Like, they have that perfect family, they love their lovely moms and dads and whatever they have, and no matter in which situation, they are grateful for having them. And I'm grateful for having parents, yes, but I know exactly in detail how much they do wrong on me. And I know that they don't have other possibility. In their time, there was no other way, but it still harmed me. So they loved me, but it harmed me. And I don't know how you feel about it, but on my side, it's like a double-edged sword. I love them the one way.
Absolutely.
On the other way, I just kind of feel, why the hell didn't you bring me to a doctor? Or why didn't you go yourself? Like, why do you let me see all that things, live all that things, hide from so many things to stay alive? And in the end, it caused me PTSD, because my brain said one day, hey, Pi.A, you can't take that anymore. Dysfunction. Let's turn it on to save you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in my therapy journey, eventually they told me that I had not borderline personality disorder, but that I was suffering from PTSD. And again, I was relieved. Okay, so now I
Freed.
know what's
Freed by your
really
thoughts.
wrong with me. And by that time, I was seeing a psychiatrist. And I went to him and said, okay, they've given me a diagnosis of PTSD. And he said, I would agree with that. So let's start you on some medication for that.
You get medication for PTSD.
Yes,
So
I did.
I don't. I just get like the push to fight my fear so hardly that I cried while doing. So
Well,
I don't
you
know
know,
how you
I watched your
feel.
podcast last week and fear came up. And you talked about fear.
Yeah.
And I will just briefly tell you how I feel about fear and what I
Please.
did
Please.
during now I want to say that my healing journey I was on, for the most part, more than 30 years.
Wow.
Because
I
I
wish
had
sometimes to have an applause button.
I had a lot to walk through, and I didn't process out until I knew I was ready, until I'd gotten to the point where the woman that I finally reached was ready. And fear.
You make me cry. You
Oh.
really make me. I feel so deeply touched in my soul. I didn't find words, really. So
Well, I worked so hard, and I knew that I had a lot of work to do. And my fear, I felt a lot of it, a lot of times. But one of the things that I taught myself is that I always had to go one step beyond my comfort zone
yes, exactly. Totally agree.
to keep me moving. And that was the way I kept moving past my fear.
Oh my God! So people knowing me as Pi.A with my music know how much it means for me to hear that, because my main goal as person is always to get one step higher, whatever I do. Just like battle myself. Lately I had fear. I think I told you in one voice message to go to meet a stranger in real life and talk to them. Like something scared the hell out of me because I'm an introvert. So, and I did that, and it felt so. It felt like a good drug. Like after it was ready and I watched what I did, I was like, oh my God, you really did that, and you don't shake and you don't get sweaty hands and whatever, and your breathing was good and everything was good, and I was proud, and if you would ask me to do it tomorrow again, I would have the same fear but a little less because I did it once. Like
That's good.
yeah, and
That's good. You build on it.
yes, exactly, and when you say now always get a one step to just totally feel that.
Yes. I did that all the time, and I had to remind myself one step beyond my comfort zone. And when people would ask me, how do you do this? I would tell them, I just get up and I go one step
on
beyond
moving.
my comfort zone, and I just keep moving. Because that's
Yes.
the only way I'm going to get to where I want to go.
And before you knew, you have to move. Like when you
you
heard
do.
when you heard like you have PTSD, so that like the doctor give it a name. So and after that, he just, I think like it was on my side, he explained to you what PTSD did to you.
Yes.
Like how did your doctor explain to you what happens to you?
Well, it causes fear. It causes anxiety. It can cause you to lose touch with reality. It can cause you, yeah.
Yes.
It can cause you to be extremely introverted, which I was for a while, and I'm an extrovert.
Yeah, totally. You're really the total opposite of mine. But when you're a Cloudfighter, like I don't know if many people know that I'm an introvert, but I try to hide it. I really try to hide it with kind of things like going live or whatever, I just try to hide it. But when you would meet me on the street, you wouldn't even recognize me. I'm totally ghost. I'm a ghost. I'm just, nobody see me, nobody saw me. It's like, nobody look at me because I just try to hide myself all the time.
Now, I did that for a long time. I wished that I could just fade into the walls when I would be in a group of people. I just wanted to fade into the walls and just disappear. I didn't want to be recognized.
And I don't know when PTSD gets its name. So, and you stand there and the doctor explained to you, like, on my side, it was, the doctor said, or the therapist, imagine there's a big wolf running behind you, but you never turn back to look what it is. So, and you have to face it. You have to turn around. You have to face it. And then you have to battle it, because I really struggled to go out at night. That was my biggest problem. Because
I have the same problem.
Really?
Yes.
So okay, PTSD. Okay, we give this thing an under name to don't be able to go out alone or in a certain situation. On my side, it was. There was a guy followed me back home, and it was in a phase where my whole life was already crumbling. Like the Alphatower was like destroyed by myself the whole time. I just manipulated myself, my life. And then it was like on the point where was nothing of that Alphatower left, and I just want to go home. I just had a new smartphone. It was the first time I had one. And while I walked home, there was this guy following me. He wants the phone. So, and I was like, okay, I know he wants the phone, he doesn't want me, but somehow I just put my home keys in my hand and just make money, everything, I don't care, but the home keys. So I just had them in my hand, and I know he's walking and the steps get closer and closer. And then somehow in one point he just grabbed me like this, and just like, yeah, just give me your phone, he said. And I screamed at him. I said, no, I don't give you my phone. And we just screamed at each other, and then he take my hand back and run away. So, and he didn't get the phone. I win. he didn't get the phone. You. But he had all my money. It was my last money for the month. He had everything. He had my cards. He had my passport. Everything was in that bag. And somehow I ran behind him like crazy, whatever. And then from one moment to another, the PTSD kicked in. I can totally remember when it starts. From normal, everything started to get in slow motion. And after that slow motion, I wasn't able to walk. I stopped, I couldn't breathe, and something happened to me. And I went home, and I remember my father said that it was my fault that it happened. And because in my Turkish tradition, like, it was very late at night, why the hell am I outside? Why am I walking? Why don't take a taxi or whatever? He just tried to give me the fault, but I know that he doesn't mean it bad. He was totally so shocked about everything, and was shocked about that his daughter had something going on. Yeah. That he was try to find a place to let the anger out. And so he just decided to take that topic to let the anger out. But I'm smart enough to know that. But in that moment, it was the wrong thing you can do to somebody being scared. So
Oh,
I just
absolutely.
we called the police, whatever, we did all that thing, and the police unfortunately get that call for 3 different departments, and so I don't know, 8 police cars arrived for my house. And
Oh,
yeah, and every of my neighbors thought, oh my god, this girl did something, they want to take her away, maybe she's a murderer or whatever. But it was a handbag. We talk about a handbag. And we went out and they had dogs like 𝗕𝗱𝘆𝘆, like the German shepherds, and tried to search for that guy. I don't know what happened that night. I can barely remember the details. So again, PTSD, you just cut out, right? And then I just have to recall the whole day and just answer their questions and what was in the bag and whatever. And they brought me home somehow. And on the way home, I thought, damn, you have no cigarettes. It was in the bag. You have no cigarettes. You don't have your, I don't know, your mirror. Like small things. And
yeah.
and then when I was home and sit in my children's room or whatever it was, I was like, oh my god, there could be much more worse things could have happened to you.
Oh, absolutely.
And
He
then,
could have
like,
hurt you.
Yeah, and I was like, and I screamed to that guy. Oh my god, what the hell did I do? and then it starts slowly, day by day. And the next day when I wake up, I was like, when I go out, maybe I met him because he have now my address, he have my passport. So, and then the next thought kicked in. And my father somehow, my father sits in a wheelchair, so he can walk. So, and he went out and talked to the trash people, like putting the trash into the bigger cans and whatever. They had just worked on the street. And he said, hey, can you please look in your trash bins if there's a bag and whatever. And they really find my passport. They find my mirror. They find a couple of things. And they just brought them home and put it in front of my door. And that scared the hell out of me, to see that thing sturdy in front of my door. And I was like, okay, what did that guy do? But I wasn't able to understand in that moment that he will not follow me, that he will not come back again. He was just like a regular, he just want to have the money, the phone, and then just continue. And I just was not able to differ what was real and what was my thought. And
yes,
after a couple of weeks, my friend said, hey, Pi.A, didn't we want to go to a doctor? Because on the street, I was like turning around, oh my God, where is this guy? Is he coming back? Because it killed me inside to didn't know his face. Because when he grabbed me like this, I didn't know who he was. He never showed me his face. And they brought me to a doctor. And and the doctor asked me what you would do if you would met him. And I said I would kill him. and he really take that serious. Oh my God. He really take that serious and say, oh my God, we have to bring you to hospital and you need... and I say, no, I would kill him. I wish I could, but I couldn't. Like, if I could kill him, this wouldn't happen to me. And then I give myself... the fault for not being able to save myself, to take care of myself. And that thought lingers for 5 years. That I was
you
not
still
able...
think that?
No, not now. Not now. Now I'm cloud fighting. But in that days where that happened to me, it's now 10 years ago, I lost 5 years of my life. I lost 5 years.
Wow.
I just... didn't want to go out. Most friends didn't understood. Most people around me didn't understood. I went to school. I just wanted to make my bachelor degree. Everything was so hard because I always thought, how the hell did I can go there safely, and how can I come safely home without this happening to me? And that was in a very short period. Told like the trigger, like putting PTSD, like the on button, like the push button to make it turn on. And if I would had a better childhood, this one situation wouldn't cause me that PTSD. So
That's
it
one
came
of the
from,
things my doctor explained to me, is that PTSD can be triggered very easily
yeah,
because of the trauma.
yes. There must be a trauma, a very, very hard one, or multiple ones, so you can have PTSD. So when somebody has PTSD, there's something a lot going on before that it turns on, because a post-traumatic stress disorder, like it's the name saying it as well, it's to cause somebody so much pain that he didn't have a chance to react the other way. So that's a brain function saying, okay, need to save that human with turning that on.
Yes. They are now, and have been since the 80s, but it hasn't really caught on until the last couple of years. C-PTSD. And that means, that's like complex PTSD. And that
Oh.
means that the person had repeated trauma in their childhood.
Oh
Now,
my God.
in the beginning, they adapted that for soldiers, but they are now using that to identify children who had repeated trauma as children. And it is very easily triggered because they have so much trauma built up. And that was a lot of work for me,
Yeah,
because I had multiple trauma in my childhood.
I saw your shocked eyes when I told my story, like the trigger which is turning it on, and I saw it in your eyes that I know exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And to hear now that you have that like double time harder, it's, oh my God. I mean, I want to thank God that He just gave you the strengths inside to come out of it. Like I don't know if you want to share like your past, because you only if you want to, but if you're not, we can talk about how you made it out. So up to you.
Well, let me begin by saying that my mother was an untreated bipolar, and she was a survivor, but didn't recognize it.
Oh.
She thought she thought the house she grew up in, well, she had what they used to call a nervous breakdown when she was 16 from her home. And I spent a lot of time in that home. My dad was an alcoholic, and
mine too. When he could walk, mine was an alcoholic too.
Yes. And my mother was very abusive with me, physically, emotionally, mentally. My dad, at the age of 3, used me as his girlfriend for the first time.
Your own dad?
My own dad. I spent a lot of time in my grandparents' home. My grandfather was a severe alcoholic, and my grandmother would send me to bed with him at night.
Oh my God.
And I would go to the corner of the room because I was so traumatized. Would leave my body and go to the corner of the room and watch what was happening to me.
Oh
and And that went
It's
on for years until I was 9. We moved away from there when I was 9 years old. So
oh
that
my
went
God.
on until I was 9. And there was no one I could tell. I had a great grandmother that was the only one that was safe touch for me. And she absolutely adored me. And I would tell her about my flying dreams. And she would tell me those were spiritual dreams. And she would talk to me about me being a very young spiritual person.
You are
And how,
you are today a very big spiritual person
well, thank
because
you.
you made, you just have a strength that nobody else has because you are here. It everything could have totally went down to another road, but where you stand when you were younger in the fork in the road, you decided for the right way. You don't let that negativity kill you from inside. You didn't let that
No,
do it
now
to you.
I will say that I ended up in 3 psychiatric hospitals before I was ever on the right medication because I had suicidal ideation. But I couldn't think of a worse way to abandon my children and my husband. I was that clear during that suicidal ideation, so I self-admitted to those hospitals because
Yes.
I knew I needed help.
Yeah, and that's what most people don't understand. I don't know if somebody's watching having suicidal tendencies, like when you have it like we had, you still can think. You still can.
Yes.
You have the possibility to decide if you do it or not, if you step
Yes.
back, if you go away from the window, or if you jump. So it's up to you. It's always up to you, and there's always a way out. And if somebody's watching having that thoughts, look at us. We are here. We had that thoughts as well. So and it's inner strengths, and it's the will to continue to make it better, like to find a way to make a better life for you, for others, for the ones you love, right?
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things that I also thought is that if I die, they win.
Yes. It's weird, but my way of dealing with it is laughing about it. So
Yeah.
it's when I
And I'll be
don't do
damned
it,
if they were going to win.
yes, because when I would let that pain now control me, then I would start crying. And I know it, and I know the camera's on. So, so if we would met, like in private, I think we would end up crying like, I don't know, so many tissues full of tears, because that story is similar to mine. So your story is very similar to mine. I don't get abused like physical, but mentally, like I was that child having to do everything because like a slave, just like go and buy this, go and pay the bills. Here's the card, go pay the bills, go buy that, do that for us. I don't know, if you don't come with us today, maybe it's the last possibility you can see us, because we get older, we die someday. So these are kind of very things I often heard. And I had mentally unstable parents as well, both. And my father drank, but there was a time where he can walk, and he drank because of his own trauma. That's the pain in my family. He had his own trauma to deal with from his childhood, and he was smart enough to tell me that. He was really able to tell me that. And someday when he gets sick, he started drinking totally by free will, without therapist. He stopped that by himself.
Wow.
That was, I like my fighting skills are genetically because my father had that strength and my mother as well. So they both just tried to fix themselves by their own power. And unfortunately,
That's phenomenal.
Unfortunately, God didn't have like that best fork in the road for them because my father can't walk anymore. My mother gets older and older, and they just make that life together, you know. But what comes out is me, and I just try to make it better. But I don't want to judge about them because I know they didn't have other chance. So he was traumatized and then getting a father, just like
Yes.
how should he do it the other way? So it's a cycle, you know. You just do to others what is done to you, like, you know.
Hurt people hurt other people.
Yes, and that's why I'm not mad or something. I don't know how. I think it's on your side different. I think, and you have the right to be.
Well,
so
I lost my mother almost 13 years ago.
Oh my God.
And before I did, I went to her, and it was very difficult to talk to my mother. We had a very tempestuous relationship. She was very hard to reach. Like I said, she was an untreated bipolar. And so I went to her and asked her if we could offer each other grace. And she jumped on that.
That's beautiful.
We had 2 phenomenal years before she died. And I think about those years and wish that we had had more, but I'm grateful for those 2 years. My dad, I hadn't seen for 30 years, and he suddenly came back into my life a couple of years ago. And Hi, Heather.
I just try. I'm so barely at multitasking. Sorry for everybody watching. But I'm trying to make it better and put all your lovely comments on the screen. So, and here's one.
I just love this.
Yeah, this is cool, right? This is.
Yes, it is.
But unfortunately, it's manual, and so I have to click everything. So like this.
This is so wonderful. Well, I hadn't seen my dad in 30 years, and he came back into my life, and we'd seen each other a couple of times, and we went to breakfast one day. And of course, he was older, so much older. I hardly recognized him. And his voice had changed. But he was still the same person. And I was sitting across the table from him, watching him, thinking, you know, I missed all those years with him, and I've been carrying around this anger, and I just forgave him in that moment.
When you saw him getting old,
I just let go of the anger and forgave him. And it wasn't even an effort. It just happened.
Yeah, it's just that one moment where you decided, okay, so it was like it was.
Yeah.
It is like it is. You can't change a thing, but we can change future. We can change future.
Yes.
We can change the past. What happened. And I think maybe sometimes it's fortune to go through that kind of things to just came out stronger.
Yes, absolutely. And I
Because the
think,
skin gets thicker. Like you can double down on things much more harder than other people because you went through hell and back, and nobody else knows how it feels like to be in hell.
no, so many times I had to reach down inside myself and pull out that strength. And like I said, put one foot in front of the other and just say, to hell with it, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it because I want to be well. I want to be better. I want to be the
And
woman that I know I can be.
how would you say, where does that will come from? That will to say, how can I, or I want to be better. So how do you think people being in that bad time can turn that thought on to get in safety mode? That's a good question.
It is a question. It is a good question. It's a very good question. I'm thinking back about how when I started, I have to tell you that I did years and years, I mean, the better part of 30 years in therapy. And those therapists helped me. They helped me reach for that goal. And I didn't want to be like my parents.
Yeah.
I wanted to be better than that. And I had children. I wanted to be a good parent. And I didn't always know what worked because I wasn't parented well. So I grew with my children. I paid
That's
attention.
beautiful said.
So I grew with them. And I was loving and kind and nurturing. Everything that I didn't get, I gave to my children. Unconditional love.
Now you really make me cry. I just can't hold back that tears. So you're such an unbelievable person. And as I can read in the comments, our dear Cloudfighter is thinking the same. Like, you are such phenomenal. You're what you've been through, how you made it out, and like, you know, like life gave you bad cards, but you changed them all to the king and just make, like, you know, like all aces, like four
thank
aces.
you.
And it's such, like, you know, energy loading to hear like your journey in the dark woods and how you find the light at the end. It's so much more to know for everybody outside, because the most people, unfortunately nowadays, younger people, spending so much time with nonsense on the internet.
I know.
I'm so sorry if somebody feel I don't know, but I don't want to be negative, but I think hearing that kind of stories giving much more to the brain, to like thinking about yourself and just like trying to review your own things, then I don't know, looking how people bake a cheesecake or whatever on TikTok.
You know, my mission is always to give people hope. There is a way. It
Hope
can
is
be done.
beautiful.
You can walk past it. It can be done. And hope, we have to have hope to be able to do that.
Yes, exactly. And hope is, I think, the anchor inside, saving you from jumping, saving you from drinking again, saving you from doing bad things to yourself. Like everything starts with hope for a better tomorrow. And unfortunately, some people don't made it to find that hope, and it ends how it ends, and we hear it on the TV, and we hear it that it happens on schools and whatever, that the people just go crazy and harm themselves or others. And I think
Yes.
what a human can do is to be a good example for other human by
Yes.
by their
I
actions.
agree. Well, let me tell you where I'm at now. I still see a psychiatrist. I take medication because I've been, oh, those are so nice.
Yes. Sorry for everybody in the chat. You guys know I'm no multitasking person, so please forgive me.
Oh, it does. Forgiveness does. Um, I, I have been diagnosed not only with PTSD or C-PTSD, but I'm bipolar. I'm chronically depressed. PTSD can also cause insomnia.
Yes.
And I have had insomnia since I was in high school, and I still battle that. So, but it's getting better. I have anxiety disorder. I have other invisible diseases that I battle with, fibromyalgia, and I could go on about that. But so I take medication. I do medication management with a psychiatrist. I'm a big believer in therapy. I think it
Yes.
works if you work it. You have to work. You can't just
Yes.
go and sit and let somebody feed you the answers. You have to
Absolutely.
be willing to work for the answers.
But that's in everything in life. Most people see, famous people or whatever, and they thought, oh, they just make like this and they get the money, the fame, I don't know, everything. But
Yeah.
the same battle these fame people have to be famous and to stay famous. Like the same battle is to stay alive. For
Right.
me, it's the same battle. You always have to double down you versus you. Because when you don't be honest to yourself, like when you have that mirror and you look into it and you are not able to tell yourself the truth about yourself, what's wrong with you, what's good with you, what future plans are, whatever, then you will always lose, because you need to focus on yourself, on nothing
Right.
else.
Right.
And therapy, to be able to say I need a therapy, is step one. And unfortunately, the most people are scared to go to a therapist because they think, oh, it's, I don't know, like they watch movies about people being in I don't know, places where they've been holed or whatever, and they think going to therapy is like this, or what I always think, I don't know in which kind of movie it was, but like this thing where you lay on and then there's a therapist like with the blank sheet of paper and writes down. It's
Oh,
not
no,
like this,
I
right?
didn't do that kind of therapy. I wasn't willing to lay on anybody's couch.
Yeah. And
I was
that's,
going to sit cross-legged in a chair, and I wanted to talk. I
yeah,
wanted
but
to.
that's unfortunately the picture the society has from therapy.
Yes,
And-
and it's wrong.
It's so much wrong, and there are two kind of ways in therapy, and today it's a very good mix for that. You said you get medication to just like help you in therapy. I just made it without, because I didn't need them, because my therapy was to walk in the dark with my therapist and talk with her. We just make that sessions outside, and then she just told me, and today you come in the dark to my place. You come here, and when something went wrong, I will jump on you, and we just make it like this. It was the other way of therapy. And there's so many ways, but the first thing is you have to want to do a therapy, to understand there is something you have to battle with, and you need support. I mean, when your teeth has something, you don't, I don't know, go into the kitchen, pull something and try to fix it, right?
Unfortunately, I have a friend that does do that.
Oh my God, that's not good. So really, I mean, like people say, oh, I just go weekly for the yearly for the check on the doctor, so please then go and check your mental as well. It's not only the body you have to check on a doctor, it's sometimes the head. And
Oh, yeah. I mean, I even have or had a grandmother that was schizophrenic. My dad's mother was. And so I come from a family that has some mental illnesses that were not treated. And so had I only had PTSD, I don't think I would have needed medication. But I have other mental illnesses that I struggle with.
yeah,
Now that I've been on medication for a number of years and I'm finally balanced, I have a very good mental life, a very good emotional life. And I resist using the word happy. I'm content. I'm content. I truly am. And my life is full of joy. I like the
and
word joy instead of happy.
𝗕𝗃𝗄𝗃𝗃 sees the same way as you. Dené is an angel, peace of mind to you, Dené. So I think the most in the chat think that, and yeah, Frank is agreeing as much. Like, inspiring interview. That's the things we want to hear, because that's the reason why we do this to
I
inspire, to
appreciate that.
reflect.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, I have the cutest people around me. Like, everybody's
Yes,
so
you do.
kind
You are so
people.
fortunate.
Thank you. I just really do a lot to make everything work, because I do everything by myself. And when I see people enjoying it and tuning in and listening and watching, it's the biggest thing for me. I always keep smiling, and that's for me like happiness. Like,
Yeah.
helping
Well,
makes me
happiness
happy.
works for other people. I mean,
Yeah.
the word happy works for other people. I've just adapted joy because I
Yeah.
get so much joy from my granddaughter and my son and my daughter and my husband. And the joy feels good to me. It fills my heart and my spirit and my
It's like peace of
soul.
mind. It's peace of
It
mind, right?
is. It
Yeah.
is.
Because in the moment where you see them happy, you
Oh,
have
yeah.
a peace of mind, and they will never understand how much it meant to you to see them happy, because inside of you, you always think, if you guys would know what I've been through to be able to see you guys now, to
Oh,
see you
absolutely.
happy and jumping around, and it's the same for me when I see when I go somewhere with my husband and there's beautiful trees or whatever, and I sit there and thank God and say, hey, I'm here. I can smell the earth. I can see heaven. I can see clouds. I can thank you, God, for making me see that one more time.
I have to say that God saved my life
Yeah, totally agree.
and gave me the strength and showed me the way.
Yeah, it's having faith. Like, I don't want to judge about what is better, being a Christian, a Muslim, or whatever, but
Oh,
believing in the higher energy, like believing in that there's something watching over you and making this world turn every day. Like,
and the universe. I think that the universe touches my spirit. There's a lot that comes from the universe that is just placed in front of me, and I'm grateful for that. I start every day by giving gratitude, even for the smallest things in my life.
yes, yeah,
And
like being
it
faithful.
feels good. Yes,
Yes.
yes. And one of the things that I'm most grateful for is the community that I'm a part of on Instagram, like meeting you. And I've met so many other people, women especially, that I just am so grateful for. They give me so much.
It's like fortune, right? You just meet the right people in the right time on the right place.
It just happens.
It scares. It really scares a little the fuck out of me. Excuse me. So,
There's fear again.
yeah, because I really believe in fortune. I really do. That's what I think. And for example, 𝗕𝗃𝗵𝘆, like one of my favorite persons in this great universe. I met him on Instagram as well, and I made the most of my collabs on Instagram, and it was not about, hey, can you please like my post or whatever. It was just like, hi, I'm this, who are you, and just do you want to make a song. And what came out are very cool friendships, and meeting you now and just like having you here is amazing. And I don't know, it's like, you know, the soul searches for other soul, and it finds the other soul when it's the right time. So I think 1 year ago I wouldn't be able to talk about my own PTSD so freely, and I think it was the first time I talk about it, like the whole story. And it gives me like my hands shaked a little, but it was okay. I told the story, you know, it just came out.
Good. That's good. I'm glad that you did that. I'm grateful that you felt comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah, it was like, it was not a safe zone, but it was the right moment to say, because it was the right person to say to. Because when you tell this to a person didn't having PTSD, they will not understand. They will not understand why you wake up in the middle of the night and look if there's someone else. They will always think that you have schizophrenia or something, but it's a difference. You are awake in your head, but you can't control what you think. Right. You're totally out of control about your mind. And it takes a lot of years to gain that back, and you lose so many people on that way because everybody think you're crazy.
Yes.
But you're not. You're scared. You're scared. You're scared so much that you can't make it out. But it's, I don't know, Instagram is a kind of magical place to meet cool people, to be honest.
It is. You know, if someone makes a comment on a post that I make, and I get a feeling about that person because they make then another comment about a post, I will go after them. I will make more comments about their comments. And it's like, I will even post, I would like to get to know you more. Yes. I would like to get to know you better.
Yeah, because Instagram is so fake, like the most platforms, but when you use it to meet people, it's a pretty cool way, because you don't have like the place difference. I mean, I'm from Berlin, you're from Texas. We would never could met in person so fast.
No. Well, and that's how I met my husband. He lived in Sweden. And I was living in Texas.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, and how do you met him on the internet? Through Instagram?
No, Instagram wasn't even around. I mean, I started using the internet when it was a baby. And there were chat rooms. And I met him in a chat room. I watched. So
you didn't have a picture, you didn't have a video, you just only write with him?
Yes, at first. Yeah.
So it was true love of two souls because you didn't saw each other, right?
No. And then we used a platform called ICQ.
I know this.
You know
it
ICQ?
Came out new when I was 16. ICQ was totally new. Yeah.
And I was in my 40s. So we exchanged pictures, we exchanged emails. He would send me roses. He would send me money for bottles of wine. I would send him birthday presents. And after a year and a half, he sent me money to buy a ticket to meet him in Stockholm.
And that's where the love story starts, right?
That's where the love story starts.
Oh my God, I need an applause button. I don't have one. I have to make one. Oh my God.
It was the most
romantic.
It was the most romantic 4 days of my life. He was exactly who I knew he would be. And then I think 5 or 6 months later, he came to Texas over Valentine's Day and my birthday and stayed for 10 days. Hello.
This is Folk Punk. For the people didn't know him, this is the one and only I made the first episode with.
Oh,
the
it's
episode
nice
where
to
I
meet
have
you.
so many technical problems, but he was the light. He really was the light in that episode because he kept me going with his smile to Pi.A. Come on, we just have to, we can make it. We can go through that. And it was 20 minutes or something. No, 10 minutes was totally black. The screen was black. There was even no music, whatever, and then we were back and my husband was adjusting my microphone and we made it through. And thanks to him, we made it, because otherwise I wouldn't have the power to do it now, because it was my first experience. And Folk Punk, my dear, my lovely one, we will do this again, but give me a little time. This time I want to make it perfect.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was still fun.
It was still fun.
Yeah. And to hear his story was for sure very unique and very special. And we will do this again because I want to know more of that.
Okay. Funny.
So,
laugh.
and now I totally forget where we were. Excuse me.
Oh, that's okay. He came to Texas.
Yes, we were there.
Over my birthday and Valentine's Day. And then he had me meet him in Copenhagen about 5 months later, and he proposed to me. And then he came back to Texas about 4 months later, and we got married.
That sounds like you know, like that that things we read as children, like in the books. I don't know, the fairy tales.
Yeah, it was. And we're getting ready to celebrate our 25th anniversary in August.
Oh my God, that's so cool. I mean, you know, people didn't have a hard past. I don't know, maybe I didn't have that luck you have in your marriage right now. Like, God always gives you on one time a reward and on the other side a punch. So you have to deal with both, you know.
Oh yeah. And he's very supportive of my mental health growth and issues. He's very helpful and very kind about it. Don't get me wrong, he can be an asshole sometimes.
So we have a lot of men in the chat, but sometimes men are a little...
Well, he's in his 60s and he's grumpy. He's a grumpy Swede. What else can I say? They're known for that. Swede. He's stoic. He can be totally very stoic. And Swedes are known for that. But I'm used to it. And I love him dearly. So...
And he moved to Texas
to
be with this.
He gave up his life in Sweden and moved to Texas.
I think that's the biggest risk to take, to move somewhere. But love gives you that power, right?
Oh yeah.
To
I wanted to move to Sweden, but I had 3 children still at home. And it would have been a great experience for them to move to Sweden.
Yeah, sure.
But my ex-husband, their father, wouldn't allow it, which was very unfortunate.
But it was fortune, so you can stay in America. And,
Yes.
And maybe it was a life lesson for your husband, because I believe in lessons. Like in lessons you have to go through, and this was his lesson.
Yes.
So, and if you wouldn't made it through, he wouldn't have you as his wife. So he had to.
Oh, he thinks I'm the smartest woman he's ever known. And I laugh and tell him.
I agree with him. I met you now for the first time, but I really agree. You're such a smart, such a lovely personality, being through so much things and being so strong.
Thank you.
I think, sometimes people didn't see how strong they are because they can see themselves from the outside. But you are. You shine. You shine so hard that your Alpha Tower is overshining the universe.
Well, I'll just be a part of your Alpha Tower. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, my Alpha Tower is somewhere in the internet. Building up. No, I'm just joking. Like, my Alpha Tower is smaller than yours, and I really mean that, because you are such a strong personality, being through so many things, and I hope so much, and I pray that many people will watch this having the same issues, like having a bad childhood, having trauma, having PTSD and other mental illnesses, and see you as an example of how the story will continue when they continue. So when they don't give up.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope it gives them hope.
Yes, hope, and the message of transformation.
Oh,
from
absolutely.
The negative shadow, like a dark cloud following you everywhere, to the sunlight that everybody can see.
Yes.
And I think and I hope so much that everybody who watched this today, first, I'm sorry, I'm not multitasking. Sorry for everybody that I couldn't answer, whatever. It's very hard to do for me, both at the same time. I will answer you all when the stream is done. Thank you all for that, and thank you, Dené, for being able to come into that stream, share your story, and having overcome your own anxiety to meeting a stranger as well, like in the internet, and it's weird. But it feels like I know you for ages because we went through similar things. And
yes.
It's like the power to speak heals people as well, and gives them the power to speak about themselves, about things they have in their own Pandora's box. And
yes,
that's like speaking up and asking for help, or just asking to hear a story helps to feel better.
I hope my story empowers other people.
I hope so too. I hope that the right people come across that video and get the right ideas about how it is when the pain is done, and when the therapist did his work and reset the logic again.
Just let me say that I did interview therapists before to decide whether or not I wanted to work with them. I would do an interview, actually, and then decide, this therapist doesn't work for me.
You need trust. I think it's something like you need trust, and for sure, I mean, country-wise, in Germany, it's very easy to get a therapist. You go, you have a mental card or whatever, like healthy card, and with that healthness card you can go to every doctor, and it's already paid because it goes out of your loan. So that's the German. In German you have a very big safety net. Is it money-wise? Is it mental-wise? But I know that in other countries it isn't like that, and you have to pay it from your own money when you go somewhere. Yeah, and I think that makes a big difference for people outside of Europe to get help quick. Because when you don't have money, you can't have help. But to all that people, there are so many websites offering so cool help lessons, even for suicidal tendencies. You only have to Google it and and search for it. And sometimes you don't need money to have like the first step. You know, there's so many organizations helping without money to have like a phone call or a video call to just help you out of a dark moment. There are
Oh,
possibilities.
absolutely. There is
Yeah.
help. There's more help available today than there was when I got started. And I think that's wonderful. It is wonderful.
Today everybody using that hashtag as well, mental health awareness, but unfortunately under that hashtag is not much help really. So you just find people sharing, I don't know, a picture, and then right under, please visit my website for more, and then you go on the website, and then there's not much help like for that people when he's really in need. And I think it shouldn't be a trend to talk about
No.
mental health. It should be a must, and it shouldn't be
Yes.
like Black Lives Matter and everything, like these trends going on. It should be taken seriously, and it should be come out of that old box. Because
Yes.
I think in your time it was tougher as well, but even in my time it was a big no-no to say I go to a therapist or I have something mentally. You just always have to hide it because nobody understood and everybody judged about you, and you had like a worse
She's
life.
crazy.
Yeah, everybody said, oh, crazy, but you were in need, you needed help, and nobody understood. And nowadays it's still a no-no, but not this big anymore. So you can be go into the internet and search for things what they mean, and like stories like we do on YouTube to just like get inspiration for yourself. You have nowadays all these kind of things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's wonderful if people are willing to use them.
Yeah.
You can find whatever you want.
Yes, exactly. And I hope so much that people use that what they hear today for going to Google and search for themselves, because deep down everybody knows what he's carrying on his shoulders. So everybody know, you just only have to be honest to yourself. That's what it's
That's
about,
right.
right?
Reach
Deep
that
honesty.
person that's deep inside of you that you cannot reach yet, but you want to reach. There's help for that.
Yeah, and you can reach that inner child.
You can.
You can hug that child which didn't get that love. You can do that for yourself. You don't have others doing that for you. You have to do it for yourself.
Yes.
You have to love yourself.
Yes. You do.
So, and with love and my deepest respect for you sharing your story, we come into the last minutes of our Alphatower Meet and Greet, because the Alphatower only shines for 1 hour. I'm just totally joking. So
That's fine.
is there something you want to leave as a last thought to people?
Yes, there is. Hold on just a minute. Take care of your mental health and be open to the possibilities that are available to you.
Amen. That's all what I can
everyone.
say. For everyone.
For everyone.
Equal mental health rights and ways for everyone.
For everyone.
And now, is everyone ready to listen to the outro? Are you ready, Dené, for the outro?
Yes, absolutely.
So
Goodbye,
let's play
everyone.
Let's play the outro, and you and I, we will meet on Instagram like we met
we will.
before.
Okay. Thank
So-
you, P.A., for having me.
Thank you for coming. That means a lot.
It does.
So, 1, 2, 3, and let's go.
Okay.
I'm not the better, I'm not the gamma. I'm the alpha in my alpha tower. I'm not the better, I'm not the gamma. I'm the alpha in my alpha tower.